That actually might help if I turn my mic on. We'll edit that part out. What's going on, guys? Happy Friday. Can you tell it's Friday for me? Mic's working now. I appreciate the heads up on that. Red flag. So what I was saying, or if you were reading my lips, a lot of what we discussed early instead of the week, as far as where wave 4 and wave 5 could potentially go for ETH, a lot of those have played out. So the short that we took from 2131, that all played out perfectly. The scalp longs that we took earlier in the week, yesterday, and even through last night, those played out just fine. And furthermore, the wave 5 that we were looking at on the higher time frames, we're actually tapping into those targets. The question for me that I'm really asking is, did this wave 5 complete? It did approach and tap into wave 5 levels. It has. From a mathematical perspective, it has. So there's no complaints in that regard, but I do think that we're going to move sideways for a little bit. We'll see probably most likely an ABC correction with a little bit of sideways movement, and then we'll get our impulse. Then we'll get another correction. That'll be our wave 2, and then we're going to go into a wave 3, which that's going to be our massive impulse. All that's going to lead up into the month of June, and I would say most likely probably by like the second week of June, that's probably when we'll start to see momentum picking up. So in short, I do think we're going to kind of float around in this area, especially getting towards the end of the month inside these zones. I think best case scenario that we would get to is maybe 2120s, 2140s, possibly. A lot of resistance that sits inside those areas. If we were to get to those areas, that's great. But I do still think that we would revisit the 1972s and even potentially down to like 1937. Those are still on the cards for us. 1967 was a decent level overall, but I think that there's more potential room to the downside, especially going into the new month. Now, the start of the new month, if we do make a higher low, then shorts are going to immediately turn into scalp shorts, and majority of the plays are going to be just building that long. I have longed already 1967. I had add backs at like 1987 and 1983. I've already taken profits on it twice. My position. So right now I'm just kind of leaving runners going, making it more of a chill day for myself, taking my profits, happy with my profits. I'll be sharing all that with you guys here now. Now, if I get another flush going into Asia, start of Asia by tonight, then yeah, I'm going to be looking for another opportunity to long. I don't think the long-term shorts are here in this area. Some folks are looking at, from this zone going straight to 1600. I don't see that. I see, 1930s, 1967s inside those areas, us kind of like bouncing around. If volume picks up out of nowhere on a Saturday and we just start automatically tanking going into tomorrow, which would be Saturday. See, I got my days right this week. Then yeah, that changes the narrative, right? That changes the narrative saying, okay, well, we're going to be touching into 1800s. Let me throw in some charts here so I can give you guys a little bit more information. What's going on, guys? What's up, Jen? What's up, boy? What's up? So this is the 1362 setup that we were looking at. We had a wave 4 that we were measuring out right around like 2142. We tapped right into those zones. We were looking at potentially wave 5 sitting around 1.272. This was measured from the wave 3 to wave 4. That's where we're getting those measurements. And if we can come down a little bit deeper, we're looking at this zone right here, which is essentially measured from wave 1 to wave 3. Let me make sure I have that on there correctly. Yeah, wave 3 to wave 1. Yep. So it's somewhere in between here that I'm looking at. If we draw a box out for that, let's kind of see what's inside this area. And just pull left. Right, it's all that area right there. So maybe we get like a double bottom that sits inside this zone. Strong notion for more upside. So in short, really, I mean, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse when I say this, but like I'm just not married to any positions. I'm aggressively taking profits and then just waiting, right? A good, a G note here, 800 there, 400 there, 300 there, whatever the dollar amount may be. right? Just don't get married to it, because round tripping is definitely in season on both sides, whether you're shorting or whether you're longing. So I'm drawing out this box here because I think there would be a stronger confluence if we can tap into that zone, maybe potentially getting a double bottom inside of that area, and then we can move higher. The map that I have on a 4-hour puts me right down here, which is 1938 inside this zone. So as long as I don't breach this level right over here, this 1938 area, then I'm good. Then I have a count that will come to fruition, and I feel a little bit safer in regards to this Navarro setup right over here. So Navarro, a little bit of a bat, you get a little bit of mixture of both on those, but the ideal target, right? Like, just for whatever reason, let's just say, you know, an extremely optimistic Saturday and Sunday pump, all of a sudden, you know, 2218 is really what I would be looking for from a monthly perspective. Let's just look at monthly. All right, we're still closing bearish. And then that's one thing that I was mentioning through VIP just the other day. So if you guys were inside VIP, you guys knew the signal as far as where to short and where to abandon longs until we got lower lows. We failed to close above 2078. There was like a hard no for us in the sense of buyers and sellers adding more pressure. I mean, shoot, if you're looking at a Hyperbot or if you're looking at on the site, you can actually see sell orders that were ticking in at 2055, which for me, that was like, why? But they obviously knew something that I didn't know, and the shorts for them played out. Fortunately enough, we were shorting already from 2131, so that worked out for us in our favor. What I want to get at here is, you know, we have 2 days, 6 hours left inside of the monthly. I don't see this thing fully reversing in 2 days. I think your best case scenario that you're looking at right now is like 2101 inside that area. Now, if we close above that, then we close bullish, and that would be pretty shocking, to be quite honest. But that really leaves June, puts a lot of pressure on June to start pushing up. So what I mean by pressure is not necessarily for buyers and bulls, but that's going to put a lot of pressure on bears and sellers. You know, do they have the appetite to short from these levels, from these areas, without pushing up higher first? And so that's going to be a big question, especially for shorts. That's why I'm a little bit apprehensive as far as holding onto a short here from this area. Now, if ETH went up to, you know, let's say 2,500, 2,600, 2,700, what have you, those numbers start sweeping April and May highs. Yeah, I'm very much more open to those shorts and holding on to those, and then having a revisit and potentially sweeping the February low. But I don't think that's going to happen inside the month of June, as far as push all the way up to 2,600, 2,700, and then have a full retrace. I think we'll probably get through June, maybe July, and then probably like the start of August, start moving sideways, and then start breaching down by October or November, and finally getting our sweep. That would be my anticipation. From a bearish perspective count. Now let's look at weekly real quick. Just going back to the same idea. This idea was posted inside of the corner many moons ago. So you guys should be familiar for this setup over here, but I've kind of labeled everything for us though so far. And we can see where the consolidation zones had occurred. We're sitting inside of this consolidation zone right now, inside of this massive ascending triangle that we can see. Now, two things I want to just kind of point out here, just to reiterate why, for me, the longs make more sense as far as getting into longs, because I know I'm going to revisit this area. And here, look, I'll even take it a step further. You know, I constantly try to remind you guys about 9 failures. When we start to see them inside of the market, let's go to the 4-hour. And let's start over here, and let's do it right here. So initially, when we had this initial push down from here, this printed a 7, and then we had a 9 failure, pushed up, came back down again, came down on this flush, and then had a 9 failure. So not only did this move down, flush out this zone right here and create balance from a TD9 sequential, but the continuation down flushed out this area and created balance from a TD9 sequential area. So essentially, when I start to see these, when I have 9 failures, I know there's going to be a price magnet there to some capacity. It's going to pull price to that zone. Now, even though I'm seeing that on a weekly, that really doesn't change on higher time frames. I'm just showing you from a short-term relief rally perspective that clearing this area makes total sense, which puts us 2,500, 2,600. It's just a matter of how high this is going to go. And I have some targets on lower time frames that would allude to that, 2,700, 2,800 inside those areas, and then having our flush down to the downside. Now, if we go to a 3-week, as of right now, this is on a 3-week. You know, we have a 6 that's lower than anything at all. So we have a 9 failure. So just like I was showing you on a 4-hour, showing you, you know, when we have 9 failures, price action will come back and revisit that area to flush it out. That's kind of why I'm saying that I believe that we would flush this, because the 6 was created on the February low. And we go back to that weekly, we have 9 failure that sits over here. So we have some of these targets. Now let's go over to a 4-hour and we'll take a look at that idea. So somewhere inside of here, inside these zones, is really what I'm looking at, right? I think best case scenario would be getting somewhere over here, but we don't necessarily have to go that high. I am optimistic saying that the wave 3 would at least go to 1.618, which is right around 2793. And maybe this wave 5 is just above it, somewhere around like 2874 inside those zones. That's kind of what I'm looking at for June through July, for us to reach those targets, reach those areas, and then we'll have that flush back down for the remainder of the year. That's where I feel like those shorts I can hold on to for a couple months. Right now, just building inside of this zone, simply because, one, there's not enough liquidity here that's built up. There is some liquidity. Obviously, longs keep aping in, but they quickly keep exiting as well at the same time. So I think there's more build up to the upside when we look at heat maps, when we look at liquidation zones. There's a little bit more for us to start collecting. I do have another setup, and I think you're in 1362. Yeah, so I needed wave C to confirm there. Here my subwave that completed. So there it is. All right. Yeah, see, I still need an up thrust. I need to move sideways first, then I can get my up thrust. I'll remove this for the time being. Still need an up thrust to start confirming things. Let's move this over. We'll probably get somewhere over here, which 2300, somewhere in that area. Then a hard retracement. We gotta fix this. Yeah, that's holding on to the 2000 levels. So that's saying we go to 2300s and then come back and hold on to 2000s inside that zone. This comes down a little bit. Yeah, TBD on those. I could fall somewhere in between here. And then wave 5, I gotta fix that as well too. I mean, all of these are TBD, don't get me wrong. So I'm just making minor adjustments to this idea. This is my higher time frame one. What I was waiting for, if you guys recall from VIP and what I've been mentioning for almost like a week now, is, you know, I got a stronger ABC, I got a zigzag that's printing out over here, right? So I have my essentially my strong wave C inside this zone. I'm reaching those 2 levels, so I'm looking at zigzag from here. Now I need to see a impulse, right? A strong wave, if you will, to the upside. I'm going to constitute that as wave 1, and then a sharp correction, that would be my wave 2, and then I'd look for my wave 3. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities to start longing in these zones, in these areas, at least for a second chance opportunity. But if we start to hold these zones inside over here, then I'm going to call that for wave C is done on that time frame. The subwave, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to call that wave 5 is done. And then we might see like an ABC going to the upside, right? Small little subwave, right? Something like that, like that. And then you'll see the same thing again, all getting us all the way up to a wave 1, and that entire move will be a wave 1. So I'm calling that on the 1362. I'm going to look at the 4-hour again too. We didn't retrace beyond this level right over here, so it still keeps that counts with intact. And this is just giving you a different angle as far as looking at where the impulse is coming from. Impulse and then full retracement to roughly like 92%, 93% of this move, which is normal. This is not necessarily the trend line that I'm focused on. The fact that it broke support, that's not what I'm focused on. I'm focused on if it can try to reclaim it again. And see, we got another green dot. So we had one green dot, then we got a shakeout, another green dot, then another shakeout, now another green dot. Every time we've come into this area, see, it's happened more than once, right? Every time we come into where this black line is at and we get a green dot, we get a form of an up thrust. Come down, right? No sell dots yet. Even though you get sell dots, these are more shakeouts. These are the sell dots that we're really looking for, right? When we get those impulses like that, boom. Green dot. Impulse. Chop weather. Definitely don't long that. That was just dumb. Looking to build shorts, build shorts, build shorts. Small dip. And boom. So we want to come and sweep all of that. This is a lagging indicator, cipher wave, monkey wave, however you want to call it. Both do the exact same thing. We're just utilizing that because it's giving us the signals for it. And then we have the 9 failures that were cleared. So we do have a 7 here. If I'm not wrong, we do have a 7 here. That's on a 1362. So we could be floating around here in this area for some time. Maybe a small little dip underneath it to give us some clearance. But 4-hour perspective, 4-hour is your strongest count wise. You got green dots that printed as well too. Got a little bit of a slide down going on. Let's see if we can hold it from there. But if we start dipping into these zones, you know, 1965, 1962, whatever the number may be, all the way down to 1930s, like I'm looking at those as long opportunities. So with that a bit of information, you can spread out your orders if you're looking for longs, and set your stop loss underneath the 1938, because then it invalidates the harmonic and it invalidates the count. Are there any questions? You guys know the drill. Feel free to ask. I'll be walking through as much as I can. And right now, just a small little runner that I have going on in there. We've already TP'd some. You guys got the call from me early this morning. If you missed it, what can I say? Join VIP. Yeah, all that info is in there daily. Yeah, we may or may not get it. The push down. Like I said, I'm more inclined to the longs. So let's see if there's an opportunity for me to add back. Yeah, this down here. This is New York open high right over here. This is the low from the first 15-minute session, not the low of the day or anything like that. Just the first 15-minute session. We technically haven't come back and tested it just yet, so let's look on a 21. That's kind of where we are right now. Attempting to test it. Let's see what's DT doing here. I mean, I could look at it that way, which I really didn't, to be honest with you. Just because that looked like a clean 3 and 4, but this could have been my 4, making you my 5, and making you my 3. Yeah. What was that? Because I mean, I can already tell that was sharp. So, I mean, this looks pretty sharp too. Jeez. Oh, okay. So you went to you still went to flat levels, just shy of 0.5. Okay, I dig it. What is this? Yeah, no, I don't need that. And just cleaning up a little bit. Squeeze majority of that fair value gap. Yeah, there's a thicker one that was right over here. Clearing all that and then still the rest of that. That's one complex wave, I'm telling you that right now. I don't know if A is done. I don't think so. Yeah, go for another sweep. I mean, this would be ideal. And then that gives me one more dip. And then I can get a move down to this POC right over here. If not, if I area low. Yeah, I don't think that's done. We got another dip coming. I think when USDT is at like 7.8 inside of those areas, those are going to be longing opportunities. Whoops. Sorry about that. I wonder if this is a decent area to add back. Man, I'd rather see what occurs here, to be honest. Yeah, good liquidity inside this area. So where do they want to show us intent? Alright, so we'll try to show us intent here. Interesting. So shade bottom cleared that. That was cleared. Push up, try to violate, then bounce, bounce, bounce. Okay, and then you came here again. What level is that? 1984? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'd definitely be building going into the month of June for the long. So Savano, more pain. I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it pain, to be honest with you. It looks more like opportunity, in my opinion. Yeah, because let's say ETH pushes up to 2,300 and then breaks that and then decides to start going higher. Then it becomes like, oh damn, I should have bought when it was under 2,000. And then you get stuck chasing, or a sideline waiting and waiting and waiting, and then never comes back. So I think it's on pretty good discount for short-term relief. Once we get to 2,600, 2,700, 2,800, then I'll make my assessment. I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, are we going back down or what? But I mean, although ETH has pumped and it's retraced like 80% of its pumps, one, that's perfectly normal for ETH. ETH does that. It retraces like 80, even 90% of its pumps. Two, February low, 1740s. Again, was in February. March, April, May, we're going into June. We're going to be 4 months and we're not sweeping those lows. As a matter of fact, we're making higher lows. At least the last 3 months we are. So the sweeping of those lows, I think we need to collect more liquidity first, right? And that's collecting liquidity to the upside. Let more longs build inside the market, let everybody get real comfortable, and then yeah, smoke all of them. But the narrative, right? Because we're still, from a fear and greed index perspective, I think we're somewhere around like 28, if not maybe even lower. Hold on, let me check for us. $23. We're at a 23 for fear. Which one? Those are the times to start buying. Delta right now is at 100% for longs. This is incredible. What is going on? Yeah, nobody's shorting here. You got some shorts that are in here just either closing their positions on scalps. That's the way it reflects. But I don't think anybody of substantial notoriety is actually stepping in with a short here. I had a scalp short, what I posted inside my corner earlier today. I've already taken profits on it. It was just a quick scalp. And see, normally I would tell somebody like, look, it's Friday, scale out, try to enjoy your Saturdays, enjoy your weekend. But I don't know, I don't know what everyone's day looks like, right? Like, I don't know if you're a full-time trader. I don't know if you have other sources of income, right? Like, if you're a full-time trader and you're dependent, or your livelihood is contingent on what the market does, or at least being able to read the market the right way, Saturdays are not the new norm. So I would normally tell you, like, yo, just take a chill pill, like, don't trade that day. But I'd be lying saying that I'm not looking at my charts myself on Saturday going, okay, where's this move coming from? At least over the last 2 months, it's been like that for me. What's up, Sniper? Happy Friday, brother. I haven't added to my longs yet. Just I'm gonna wait for Asia to see what Asia is gonna give me. And I'll vibe with you guys over the weekend. You know, later parts of the Saturday afternoon and then later parts of Sunday afternoon. I'll vibe with you guys. I don't know if the market's crazy enough. Maybe we'll even do like a Saturday stream in the evening. If you guys enjoyed the streams so far this week, best way to thank me or show that you enjoyed them is smashing the like buttons on these videos. Definitely helps the channel altogether, helps with growth, helps allow me to help others, but also bring in others into our community that could also help us, right? So the more exposure, the better. And it goes without saying, I appreciate it. I do. If any of you guys, for whatever reason, are not seeing your VIP status on your through our rough link, like if you don't have the discounted fees, just reach out to me. I'll make sure that it gets taken care of for you guys. LBank and Bitunix. Referral links are inside the description if you don't have them already. What are you even doing if you don't? You don't like discounted fees? 2133 target. Do you think that time we might get there? Yeah, I mean, we got 2 days before the month's over, so if we were to get there, that would be a hallelujah. I mean, that's basically the top of this entire range. So we're really asking, you know, for the market, right? Because I think end of month is also on Sunday, right? Yep, Sunday. So we get a fresh month on a fresh week. So Sunday, when Asia kicks over, it's going to be very interesting. So to get to 2133 here now in the next 2 days, it's like a meh, you know? Yeah, this Sunday is going to be insane. Actually, I think the first week is going to be pretty crazy, to be honest with you. First week and a half, I think that's going to be pretty crazy. Ideally, I would like to see a move down first. That way it opens up the door for the remainder of the month for us to move up. That's me. That's what I would look for. That would kind of feed into the narrative saying, okay, you know, we flushed out enough. Now let's move up. You know, what levels I'm looking at, like 1930s, you know, 1960s again, maybe a double bottom, maybe even 1940s, somewhere in between there, right? I don't want to flush 1937. If we do flush 1937, it still doesn't change my narrative in the sense of like, oh my gosh, we're gonna sweep February low. Like that's not my thought process on it. I'd still look for, find where that support level is going to be at, look for the sweep, look for the liquidity, then design my structure, my play based around structure and where invalidation is going to be. So I'd still be looking for the long, even if we went to 1937 and beyond that. Right now, this is kind of what's holding up. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that sees this. I'm sure a lot of retail sees it. So it's very dangerous. This is like a 50-50 area for the market. You can see shorts that literally come in, and at least institutional shorts coming in at the start of June and just short that line and then you just see a massive nuke, you know, down to like 1600s. Yeah, I could see that, if not even lower. Like just absolute massive bloodbath. However, for the last couple months since February, that line's really been holding. Sure, we've violated it a couple times. As a matter of fact, we've been holding it for longer than the last couple months. We've been holding it since March of 2025. Closed above it, violated again, closed above it, small violation, close above, small violation, close above. Then we get the same thing in February. Violation, close above. Late February, towards the end of the month. Violation, close above. And now here we are again in May of this year. Small little violation, but showing like it wants to close above. So it's a long-term trend line established back in 2022. That was the origins of it. Retest, another retest. Now let's look at the top of it, right? The top we've only really tested like really once, to be honest with you, which was a weak test altogether. None of this tested it. This is essentially where it originated, but this didn't really test it. I mean, this is the only test that we really have. Meanwhile, to the downside, we have several tests. So I think it holds. And then when we get to 2700s, 2600s, then it's reassessment. I'll look for hedge shorts. Right, I'll probably go in a little bit heavier than my long. So as we start to come back down and setting everything to break even on my long. But if we run into another, you know, let's say we run back into this area right again. Right? Let's say we get to 2100s. Let's say we get to 2700s down to 2100, somewhere in that area, and we continue to hold that zone, then, you know, this line speaks volume. I mean, we're talking about a 4-year? Yeah, 4-year trend line. This isn't like some short term. This is a long-term trend line. I appreciate that. Thank you, boy. Short term wise, like this 2203 would be my catalyst, in my opinion, to say, okay, well, we're going to go and sweep that 9. Like if we can reclaim 2203 and then hold that area, then I would anticipate some form of an impulse. Right, because you can see where I've had the labels here, right? 2024 high, we consolidated here. Retest, had another little revisit right off that bounce inside the zone. Then obviously broke it. Then we breached it. Then we had another little bounce off of it. Now we've breached it, acted as resistance. We pushed through, violated. So there's a lot going on here between support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. If I can get back to this area here and I can reclaim 2203, then I would anticipate an impulse. There's no point of shorting it down here at this area. I'd wait for the sweep of the highs. And that's what I was saying, like 25, 26, 27, 28, whichever level comes to fruition. Because 25.23 is 50% of the CME gap. And we haven't even touched into 50% of the CME gap. $26.37 closes that gap. Yeah, well, we tapped off 24.79. And, you know, I didn't do anything crazy. It just went from the wick to wick. 25.27 is 50%. I think I said 25.23. I was a couple bucks off. We didn't even touch that. So yeah. Just looking for long opportunities here. Continuously look for long opportunities. Not longing here, not when it's moving like this. This is just creating inducement. So if you're going to long it, then you're longing with the anticipation of taking aggressive TPs, because your likelihood of getting round tripped and revisited are greater than 50%. And that can have a lot of mental wear and tear, especially on the trading side. You're just going to get exhausted. You'll run into fatigue. You'll give up on a position, or you'll do something stupid, like holding on to it, expecting it to go in a certain direction, or adding to it because you're like, yeah, we can only go up from here. Don't be that guy. Just take your profits. Promise you there's going to be an opportunity coming. All right, give me 1 second, guys. I got to check something on my phone. There's the thing about BTC. I mean, I'm taking this as this is BTC's wave 3. Yeah. Maybe a small little push into this. Maybe a little higher. And this would be ideal. Prefer to see that. And then we get another flush. In my opinion, I think to the downside, the bearish count to the downside, I think that count is for wave 3. It looks like that's done. This channel. 1925. Yeah, I think that's volume area. Yeah. No, my bad. 1941. Yeah, it's 1941. Yeah, it puts me in the same area that I was just talking about, like 1937. So there you go, one more flush of 1960s, and we get that flush to the 1940s. And also timing of the day too, right? Like it's, you know, cash markets basically are done around like 2:30 and officially close like around 4:30. So you're not going to see algo or institutional money stepping into the market right now. Sure, maybe Asia, Tokyo, they'll start building up. But for me, like this time of day, I wouldn't be looking at longing. The day's basically over with, so I'd be looking for Asia to start getting set up for Asia. I ran out of tea. I need to make some more tea. I'll be right back. I'll put it on a 1 minute so we can give somebody some anxiety. I'm back. $2002. I had a fib level that sat right over here. Which so happened to be a New York zone. I don't have it here now. I'm just going off of memory. I remember seeing that before. Should have looked for a long entry on that. Liquidations for the day. And it's almost 50-50. There's a good amount on the daily. 287. 1960, there's 837 million. 1951. At what point do I get to the billions? 1931? That would invalidate a good amount. Yeah, 1 minute charts anxiety now. ETH exhibits a recurring tendency on the monthly time frame. Extended downside wicks are frequently rejected before the candle closes. Possible. No, why would I stop using my liquidity indicator? Everything's here, buddy. Let me go to the monthly for you, Steph. Hold on. $20.30. I'm so glad I got. I'll look at hype in a second. Can I get the same type of love on ETH that I get for hype? My goodness. Barfig Newton, look at you. Oh man, you know what? I can measure that. Shoot, I should have shorted that. Yeah. Oh man, I think it might be too late on that. I want to short you so bad. Nah, I'll just wait. I'll wait. I got 4 hours left. I'll wait. I'm gonna short hype. I'm definitely gonna short hype. Let me go back over to ETH. My bad. You got 2030? Yeah, heat map's always on, buddy. You just don't leave it on during stream because it has a lot of noise. Everything's always here. Heat maps are right over here. And dynamic tool sits right over. Where is my dynamic tool? Oh, there it is. It's right here. I use them when I need them. So I don't know where you're watching, but they're definitely on in VIP. Hold up, did that thing just jump? Oh, to the 15, yeah, there it is. As a matter of fact, I actually had heat maps on earlier in the stream this week. I just realized that. I don't know what you're on. Yeah, show bottom on that. It was really hot. That's 30 though. Yeah. Yep. Which one of you is bigger? $49? Wow. I can hold that area? 78. So 78 is actually the biggest one. So what is that? 1971? Yeah. You gotta shave bottom on that one though. You know what? I don't even think I would shave heads on. Invincible. Yeah, there's a few over here. So Stefan, what were you saying? Like 2030? Or was it 21? I mean, either way, there's shaved heads so sit right over here. And I think there's another one on a 15-minute that was never cleared, or maybe I'm tripping. Yeah, you're 84, right? Yeah, this guy right here. This guy was never cleared. And you got another 9 failure that's printing right now. So, don't trust any of the moves, in my opinion. Yep. That's the truth, brother. Just take your TPs. Or if you want to leave a runner just to, just to say that you're in, then yeah, you could do that too. Yeah, I don't know 2130, but like 2050 and through 2084, we have some shaved heads here. Oh, snap. I didn't see you. Oh yeah, you're 2084. Duh. Derp. All that's cleared. All that crap's cleared. Yeah, the next actual shaved heads that we see on lower time frames are like 2200s. That's cleared. Believe it or not, that's actually cleared. Very thin, but cleared. This is not. 2354. I don't know why the music stopped. Not anytime soon or anything like that. Just, pointing out like if we start getting like up thrust and you're like, where are we headed towards? It's like, okay, well, 2050s, 2051. I mean, yeah, 2051, 2084. Then we have 2256. Then we have 2354. Holy cow, then we got one up here. 2404. Anybody else? Let's look up 55, see if we can see this on higher time frames. Yay, we can. Okay, good. Alright, that looks good. That gives me more stable data on 2227. Wow. So a higher time frame in that regard compared to 15. All this was cleared already. This was cleared, so I can't really use any of that. This was already cleared. So the strongest one right now is 2227. I don't mean stronger because it's higher time frame. Higher than 15. No, nothing here. Ooh, look at you. Look at you. Look at you. You never got cleared. Oh yeah. Yeah, you actually line up with my 9, don't you? Hold on now. Yeah, you sure the F do. You line up with my 9. I can't see that. 2456. Yep. You line up with my 9. And that's at 144. It's still not a higher time frame. It's just higher. I'm just hunting for shaved heads. I really don't have any shaved bottoms that haven't already been balanced out. I'm gonna keep going a little bit higher, see what I can find. This is all cleared, all cleared. Yeah, you'd be lucky if you find a shaved bottom that hasn't been cleared yet. Maybe like on 5 minute if you're just looking at internal structure. Yeah, this was already cleared. Oh, look, wait. Technically it cleared that. That little tiny bit cleared right there. It's still thin. Oh, what is that? Ah, look at that. 2545 or 2525. What is that? With a fair value gap there. Oh yeah. 25.33. That's this little area right here. Like when we get here, that's like 50% of that CME gap. I would expect a buttload of turbulence there. Yeah, that looks good. So 987, that one. Let's just look a little bit higher. See if we find anything. No, I'm not gonna find anything there. That's all times. No. So I really need to set an alarm for this bad boy. Yeah, that works. Oh, wow. Let's try that again. No, that's not cleared. It's 50. Because I don't think that would be, I don't think that would be done. I think that would act as fuel. If we can get there, in my opinion, I think that acts as fuel. I think I have it mapped out like this. Yeah. 25.37 to 25.52. I think that acts as fuel. We'll get some turbulence there. You'll see a lot of shorts starting to build inside of that area. You know, looking for the sweep and then looking for a complete capitulation down to the downside. And I think, in my opinion, I think that would be the opposite. We'll actually use that as fuel. Buyers or algos or institutional money man, whatever you want to call them. You'll see them step in and keep pushing the price higher. Y'all be careful with them shorts. Y'all get too excited. Yeah, I can't wait to break out of this range. I mean, you and me both, bro. We've been in this range for like 90 days plus, man. And I think intraday shorts are going to be done and over with going into June. Like I'll still take scalp shorts. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting there saying like, oh, Up only, no more shorts. I'm like, I'm still gonna short. You know, we're still gonna have some low volume days or some flat days, if you will, where maybe a short kind of makes sense because we're retesting a previous resistance to turn that into support. But for the time being, me personally, I think we're inside of that relief rally still. We're still inside that relief rally. So it's flushing out both sides during the time being. And so these dips just become buying opportunities for us. Sure, maybe they dip and you're like, oh my god, it keeps dipping. I don't know if that's what you sound like. I'm just miming. Why won't it stop dipping? Because they're trying to flush you out. And the second you close that thing, watch it go up. That's how it goes. So dollar cost average, DCA, becomes your main tool, your main baby here. Lower time frames becomes your execution. You know, 1 minute, 3 minute, you're looking for that liquidity sweep. And then counter sweeps, right? You know, sometimes you can get in on the first sweep. And so you could even DCA that as well too. You're seeing one sweep, I'm like, all right, bet I'm gonna long that. Chances are you're probably gonna see like 2 to 3 more sweeps. Like here, I'll give you an example. There's so much noise. Let's take that off. Right? There's one sweep here at 2040, and then you got another sweep at 2046. First sweep initially started here at 2015. And then to the downside, where are we? 1960s. Yeah, here we go. Right? Let's say you long that. You got a little bit of reprieve, and then it came down. Boom, boom. 2 sweeps. Came down again. What is this, 1974 versus 1966? I mean, it's not a far spread. You want to set it even tighter? I don't know. Some of you guys have this indicator. Some of you guys don't. Let's say I'm looking at 405. I can go to 105 and see the sweeps even tighter, and go even tighter than that. Go to 55. I mean, you could have been long from over here. So just look for them. Just another way of saying look for them. Don't be afraid of them. Right? Fear and index right now, we're at 23. That's what I was mentioning before. We're at 23. So everybody is scared poopless to start buying right now. Cool. That works for me. So when they finally do decide to get in, and then it becomes crowded, and then there's a flush and everybody panics and then they sell, I'll buy it again. I mean, it's simple. Buy when everyone's scared. Sell when everyone is euphoric. Or start selling when you have your in-laws start asking you for trading advice. Hey, I was considering getting into crypto. I see that you do that. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Yep, hold on. Sell. Sell. It's Dookie. What? What? How you know how to say that? It's still Dookie talking. What? What are we at? 1 minute. This is the anxiety time frame. Let's hop off that. Let's go to 30. Let's go to 30. Bro, I was at a couple functions last year, And while you're networking, people ask you like, what do you do for a living, things like that. And, explain to them, full-time trader, educator in crypto markets. And like without hesitation, like one dude like literally pulled up his portfolio. He's like, hey, can you look at this for me? I was like, no. God, I didn't say that, but in my head I'm like, oh no. And then I think was it last year or was it the beginning of this year? I forget what it was. I was at church and I was kind of explaining the same thing. This is before service started, so they have like coffee and donuts and bagels and all that stuff, and so it's like a little bit of networking before church starts. People for the early show were uppers, and then I was kind of explaining the same thing to the guy, like what I do, and then he pulled out his phone and started talking about this new coin, something Texas, I don't know what it was, and I was just like, oh god. No. Sell. Sell. And there's nothing wrong with people asking questions. That's what I'm saying. It's just by the time the market gets to this type of user, right? This type of user, typically the market is either had a blow off top or it's topping out. And then the opposite is true. Like when people are like, oh no, I'm not touching that market until it comes down lower. They said the same exact thing when it came to home prices and when it came to mortgage rates. No, mortgage rates are at 1.5. I'm going to wait until they get to 0.5%. I'm like, bro, what? And rates have been like at a steady like 4.5% for like 2-3 years. Now that I got 2%, you want lower. Same thing with the housing market. Like, no, I'm going to wait for the next crash. I'm like, bro, the crash is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Not anytime soon, at least. You're going to spend like the next, 5-7 years shelling away money waiting for something that's not going to come to fruition. So you with that same mentality, right? Like people are like, oh no, I'm going to wait for it until it gets lower. I'm like, oh, you are? Okay. Bye. Something, yeah. Seriously, like anytime you want to get a sentiment on where the market is and just kind of step outside of the charts, just spark up a conversation with somebody about, you trading and things like that, and just get their input on it. You may be talking to someone who has absolutely no idea what you're talking about. And then you might get somebody who's like, they have, maybe an eighth understanding. And then it follows up with, should I be buying or should I be selling? And you obviously need to have a pulse on the market. If you start getting a narrative like, oh no, crypto's bad. I'm going to wait till it flushes down. That's when I'm going to buy it. I don't know if that's what they sound like. It's my mini Trump impersonation / retail buyer. No. I'm going to wait till it goes lower. Till it goes to 0. I'm not buying any crypto until Trump is out of the office. Okay. How'd that work out for you during Biden? So anyways, on a serious note, just getting to like fear and greed, right? Like right now we're at a 23. You can pull it up on CoinGlass if you want. You can literally Google fear and greed index if you want. Our site automatically already has it already in there. It's right there on the chart, so you can see the fear and greed index. And you can see what score it's at right there for you. And just because it says fear doesn't mean it's guaranteed to move up. That's not what I'm saying. It's just like right now they're still flushing people out. So like you have to be able to get a read on that and go, okay, well, They want to create capitulation. They want to squeeze everybody out, which for me, that tells me there's a move coming. There's a move that's brewing. And considering that we're inside of relief rally, I don't think we've fully exhausted all of our relief yet. Like I said, when we get to 2600, 2700, 2800, 2900, maybe 3000, if we even get to those levels, if we get to any of those levels, then I'll make my assessment. I'm like, okay, relief rally looks like it's getting tired here. Let's go down for that one last push down. And then after that push down, then we can start the bull run. Now, that's going to be the magic question. It's like, are we going to have a short wave wave C for a correction? So short being flat, like 1.13, 1.4, 1.27, or are we going to have a zigzag? Pray that we get a flat one, because if we get a zigzag, then that's going to be really nasty. Actually, I think I shared it with you guys the other day. It's really scary. Brace yourself. Yeah, that's somewhere down here. I'm okay with us getting here later on. Much later on. Much later on. Like October, September, sometime in those time frames. I'm okay with that. Going there here first, it's like, gosh, dang it. But that's okay. I mean, because at that point, like, bro, you got no other choice but to go up. You got no choice, ETH. It's not like, oh, please go up. It's like, dog, you got no choice. You can only go up from here. But much later, I'm okay with that scenario. And I think I actually have a setup for that here on a 2 week. Yeah, I don't think B was done. Yeah, I'll give you the play-by-play here in a second. I could use the rest of them. Be right back. All that tea. All that tea. I'm back. Oh, so like, yeah, you and me both, brother. Gobble all that up. Gobble. So like higher time frame. Right. We can just move that for a second. Right, so like range low right over here. Technically right now we're kind of riding this curve. And makes me kind of think Yeah. No, I can get rid of you. I don't need you anymore. So let's go with 1.618. I mean, pretty damn close. So I can get rid of that. So I mean, technically we kind of tapped right into that. And that would make all of this on a 2-week, wave 1 and then 2. But I don't like that because that's wrong. I just missed it though, right? Yeah, that just missed it. What the hell is this? Oh. You're in the way. Thank you. I mean, right? What follows an ABC is usually have an impulse. So, just considering this as an idea, 1, and then where's 2? Well, if we know that wave 2 retraces roughly 80 to 70% of wave 1, that puts us here 1955 down to here 1878, and then you get your 3. That's the only part that it can change the thesis for me, is if it happens like that. Because if I come over to monthly, see monthly, when this is a 2-week, right? I could get a wave B out of that on a 2-week, but if I take this off, I mean, look at that. That's a straight shot down. Yeah, so let's go. I mean, that's a straight shot down. Sure, there's a little bit of a bounce here, but just looking at monthly, so then that tells me, I'm like, well, this makes sense. And then we'll get a C. But we might push up first, get those clearance, and then come back down. And I don't know where this is going to go. We'll measure that out. Actually, we can do that right now. I can do that right now. I think I actually have that. Where are you? Where are you? Yeah, there you are. Wait, where's the bottom of you? Oh, yeah, I measured from there. So that was me saying wave C. You know, I don't want to mess with that, so I'm gonna make a new one. Yeah, bro, we didn't even touch 0.382. We haven't even touched 30% of that drop. I mean, at least 50% of that drop is 2940, which is still bearish if we start depreciating underneath it. Yeah, I'm buying dips. Y'all can get at me later, but I'm just gonna be buying dips. That's just what I'm gonna do. It just makes total sense. Like, let's go there first, and then we can make a decision. Like, okay, can we go back down now? So then, a flat level. I need to change the color of this real quick. So flat 1522, 1312 down to 1131. That's just saying that the 2 week was never done. That's on the monthly though. Okay, that's where you belong. Who are you? Oh, I can delete that later. I'm not even gonna need that later. Okay, I can delete that later. Man, that's like that's holding on right there. That's wanting that level to hold. Nah, there's nothing here. I mean, outside of just this resistance area. Damn. What happens if I catch the body? Damn, look at that. That is spot on. Let's see, there's thin liquidity right here. I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to try to hold that. But if we're just going to say, you know what? We're going to punish everybody. That's what that would look like. Very, very ugly. Very, very ugly. We're going to move this over to monthly, so we'll know where it's at going forward. Huh. I already had you measured out. I don't know why I have two of them. Okay, we can go ahead and get rid of all this. 20 that, 20 that, 20 that, 20 that, 20 that. No, still not gonna sign on to that, man.
I can't believe myself. I never thought that this would be our end, but it's nothing new. And my lover's honesty, I can push it back down if I have to. If you want me to, tell me now what's left to lose if we run.
I mean, because that, bro, even getting down to 1131, that is still flat. I don't even want to look at what a zigzag would be. Yeah, no, we're gonna stay here. We're gonna start there. But yeah, that's zigzag. Eesh. Eesh. I feel better about that, like that. Right, because this is the middle of the range, right? This is our range high. This level right over here, we can see our range low. We kind of like tapped into it, and then we get into the equilibrium area, which is right here in the middle, which kind of lines up with a 0.5 fib, 29.43. Golden rule: if price action cannot break a 0.5 fib level, it's bearish. If it can't break below it, then it's bullish. In this case, we're going to be utilizing a 0.5 fib level as a bearish level. Most likely it's going to break against it, not break through it. And that's going to be a clear sign that it's bearish. Maybe we stretch in a little bit above that. Maybe so. Get inside its golden pocket. Very likely. We can look at that on lower time frames, but this is on a monthly. And I'm using index here, so I'm using all the data. Yeah. So for right now, I think wave A is done. We're going to go into that relief rally. That's kind of what I've been explaining. And that relief rally can take us to 2602, maybe go a little bit higher, so forth and so on. But in my opinion, I think 29.43 would kind of be those tops. That puts us around July. Maybe move to the side a little bit after July, and then having that big correction back down, sweeping February low. And the correction levels that we're looking for signs of weakness start at 1522. And we need to pray and hope that it stops at 1131. That's just, those are our flat levels. So from 1522 to 1131, I mean, that's a pretty big swing, especially if you're doing leverage trading. That's why we have to be diligent with it. You know, get to 1522. Yeah, sure, I'm going to look for a long, don't get me wrong. But I'm going to have a tight stop loss on that one because I'm going to be looking at 1312 as another area. Right now, short term, I think, 1955 down to 1878. That's really what we need to be looking at. I mean, technically, it puts us at a higher low. Bear market wise. See, this gave me a clean ABC. See, short move down, 2 months of up, then down. This could be my wave B, and then we went down here. It could be. It very well could be. I'm not discounting that. Like saying you're wrong. Wave B is already done. We're inside wave C. Sure, that could happen. I have like a 10% chance that would happen. I think we would go higher just because of how deep wave A was on that initial thrust down. I mean, we've had literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months of downslide, 2 months of reprieve, and then now we're going to be finishing bearish again. Try to flip that back, going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was the level to try to change the setup phase. If I go into 8, which is next month, And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's an easy level to flip. Oh, wow. Interesting. So June is going to start off with the setup phase flipped. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what does that put me at? 1955. Yep, get ready for that. What is that? 1965.43. But right underneath that's 1955. Yeah, I'm gonna get ready for that one. I'm gonna try to keep the setup phase, which means it's gonna have to breach this area, then close underneath that for the month of June. So most likely month of June probably opens up with, which is ideal. If June opens up and starts like pushing up, like just at a ridiculous rate or just anything retarded, I'm looking for the short, because I need to get to here. I need to get inside this area. That's an ideal target, but this is still on the table because we have a 7 that's printing right here. Why did it do that? Why does it do that? Why is it I can never find what I'm looking for? Thank you. Yeah, I'll use this one. That's fine. So there's a 7 that's printing there. Next month opens up. If I go 4 back, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's this level. So 1965. So let's say I'm going to close above 1965. Let's just use that as an example here in the next 2 days. So when I go into June, because I'm not opening up underneath 1965, my setup phase is automatically going to make a flip. You're going to see a 1 on top of it. Then you're going to see inside the month of June, they're going to try to push underneath here to give us our 8. And then as long as June closes above 1965, that changes the setup phase, which would be fan-freaking-tastic. Because then I can say my A is done, my B is not done. Well, I already knew my A was done. The question I was asking myself was B done? You know, B went to a 0.33 area. It's still relatively flat. It's not uncommon for a wave B. But typically when you have these flat Bs, you get sharp C's. You get a zigzag. And so I want to see a flat wave C, but I would need to have like a moderate wave B. 0.5 kind of makes sense to me. Clear CME gap, collects liquidity, all that stuff. So boy, oh boy, I'm telling you right now, June's going to be very interesting. I'm not afraid of the shakeout. Like even if it flushed down to like 1878 inside that area, still gonna long. Still gonna long. Mm-mm. 1914, 1830. I think we can hold. I think we can hold 1914. I think we can. Bro, you didn't even clear that shake bottom? That's ridiculous. Yeah, see, I got this as a B. Maybe this is A isn't done yet. Wherever this A finishes, I'll measure it out and we'll find the B. Yep. Now you can see why I put that line there. Or at least have a better understanding why I have that line there. They typically follow each other. So that's right, that's accurate. Now I'm in a wave A, now I need to find my wave B. I don't know where my wave A is done yet. Probably some of the two hardest waves to try to find, wave 1 and wave A. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out together. As long as we don't sweep that high. I mean, if it goes for an extension like that, then this thing is gonna get deeper. We'll see. The most diabolical wave 4 I've seen in a very long time. I'm not gonna lie, this cycle, I've grown to hate USDT in some ways. It's like, bro, what are you on? What are you smoking? And yeah, I mean, I think wave 4 can come down a little bit more, in my opinion. I think it can come down a little bit more. I want to see it test those 6.5 areas, and I think that's what would give us those levels that we're looking for on for ETH. $6.5. I mean, it would be a dream to get to 6.18, but I don't think we'll get that low. I think maybe 6.5s inside those areas will hold those. Because technically we violated 0.32, but we pulled back above it. Right? We actually had a couple closes, pulled up against it, and skirted on it a little bit, and then moved back up. So I think that becomes like an area for liquidity in relationship to ETH. This is like upper 2300s to mid 2400s for ETH. So in my opinion, like that's what I was saying, like once we get back here again, if we see a flush down, then you're going to see a massive push up on ETH, and that's going to be like those 2500 areas that will probably be flirting around over here in this area, and then you'll see the flush, and then you see us just pop up to 26, 27, 2900. This bad boy here. I have a 74 for 0.236, but you know that's not 100% accurate. Meaning, what I mean by that is like it can go higher. But if I'm gonna get down here, then that's gonna be the first area that you really gotta pay attention to. 74,895. I still think BTC has some juice left inside of it, like 84. Still staying inside that range, 84. Yo, is that a shaved head here? You know what? I'm gonna try to stress myself out finding it. I'm just gonna do that. Hello? Thank you. Thank you. Way up there, but you are technically cleared. Yeah, you are. This little tiny wick right here cleared it. Alright, I got just thin liquidity here, and I don't have a shaved heads. Very thin right there. Right there. Yeah, I still think that puts us within that. I mean, that's assuming we don't go and just plummet here first, right? That's making my assumption saying, okay, well, maybe we get here and then we can move back up so it looks something like this. You know, move up, let's just say 0.32. And then you have your move here. And then you get back to this zone here. And then it's right back down again. That's assuming. That's assuming the flags play out. I mean, we could always get to the purple line of 79.04 and it just completely tanks and we go all the way down to 53. So if I'm wrong. You really want to see, honestly, reclaim of this right here. If we could reclaim 78, then this bearish count that I had, that becomes invalidated. Let me preference this. I'm on a 1362 time frame. If I get to 78,464 on a wick, it's still valid. If I get to those levels and I start closing above those levels on this time frame, it's invalidated. So I want to make that part clear. I could always come up from here to here and then reject and come back down. But if I go from here to here and then I start closing here and then move a little bit higher and then maybe another wick comes here, that initial close invalidated it because here's my wave one right over here. So I can breach it as long as I come right back down. But if I breach it and then I get a close, and then I move up and then I come back down, it's going to be invalidated. I need to restructure the count. Yeah, I can still kind of wait for. All right. Market closing here soon. It's kind of all I got. We got a shaved bottom right over here on the lower time frame, so just be careful for that. But yeah. 1914 down to 1830 are not off the table going into June. If we got there beforehand, I'd be shocked, to be honest with you. I'd be shocked. So just because you caught like a 1967 or a 1970 long, don't get too comfortable. That's all I'm going to say. Don't get too comfortable, because June, we really need to see June close above 1965. But that kind of opens a door for, well, how deep is it going to push? You don't want to see it violate 1830 or even 1740s for that matter, not in June at least. You'd really want to see maybe a push down to 1914, 1830. Ideally holding on to the 1900s. That'd be ideal. And then pull back up above 1965, hold that area, and then head on up for the remainder month of June. That's really what you want to see here. Sure, we have a bearish engulfing here on the month of May, but look where the bearish engulfing is. The bearish engulfing is on the bottom of a trend, so the probabilities of that actually panning out and holding are literally less than 50%. It's not the ideal area on a structure where you want to see a bearish engulfing candle. Bearish engulfing candles are reversal candles. They're not continuation candles. Oh, well, we're reversing the uptrend right over here. I'm like, yeah, maybe, but that's a low probability. So I wouldn't hang my hat on that. That's all I'm getting at. As for me, it's kind of all I got today. Quick little 2 hours, let you guys know where I'm at, let you know what we're doing, what we're anticipating going into the next couple of days. Obviously the weekend ends here on Sunday. I'm not going to be streaming on Saturday, Sunday as of yet. There's a possibility I may. It just depends on what happens in the market. But we know that the 1965 area is going to be a key area going into the month of June, right? So are we going to revisit it? Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to revisit that area 100%, because there's going to be a serious battle and test going on inside of that zone. That's going to be the ideal area. If you're a buyer, you need to start flipping that zone. 1914, 1965. You need that zone to start flipping, because we're, from a TD9 sequential perspective, like this is like a one in a million chance, if you will, of how easy it is to flip the setup zone. We're not looking for price action to push all the way up to these levels like 2472 and higher and hold those levels to change the setup phase. We're asking from a TD9 sequential for price action to literally hold where that last sweep low was at, the 1740, where price action actually closed above it on the next following month, which was March. It actually opened and closed above. The following month opened and closed above. The following month opened and it looks like it's closing above and retesting it. So this area right over here, 1965, is becoming an intent level, right? That's where the intent is coming from. So price action is going to revisit that zone again in the month of June, and it's going to be very easy from a TD9 sequential perspective for us to hold that level above and then continue to move up going into July, and we have August, and then all those other months that follow, that we should start seeing some of these pushes up to the upside. But if you're sitting there holding a position and wanting all these moves now. Like sometimes I see in the chat, like, oh, we're going to go to 3,000 or we're going to go to 1,600. It's like, where are we getting that liquidity from first, right? So don't hold on to those positions. Wait for those sweeps on the lower time frames. You know what those targets look like, 1965 down to 1914. We start tapping into 1914 and, you know, have an aggressive sweep on the monthly. It's not going to look that aggressive. On a lower time frame, it is going to look that aggressive. So that's why I utilize your monthly as you're going to start opening up into the new month. Start familiarizing yourself with where you are right now, especially with the end of the month coming here in the next 2 days. I'll guide you guys as best as I can, as humanly possible, over the course of the weekend. I will be 100% active on Sunday on the first Asia Open. I'll be 100% active on the market. I may do a stream that day. I don't know, but it's going to be late night. So I'll run a poll inside of the server, see if you guys are going to be up and open for that. If not, then we'll just pick up on Monday morning and start streaming from there where price action is at that time. Other than that, I'm hoping this information served you well today. You guys got some good information as far as through BTC, USDT, and ETH. I will be looking at hype again. Definitely looking at the short on hype. I didn't have the opportunity to babysit it as much as I wanted to, but I'll definitely be looking to short that bad boy. Other than that, be safe, be profitable while you're out there. If no one's told you today, let me remind you, Jesus does love you. God loves you. I love you. You mean something to somebody out there. Make sure that you give it back and give it your all. Other than that, God bless. I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.